Hi friends, Laura here from Lalo Yoga and Wellness. And today's practice, we're going to be focusing on warrior flow. This is a great practice if you feel like you want a little bit more support, need to get a little bit grounded, and really rally up some strength within yourself. Let's get started. Today we're going to be starting in a wide child's pose. I know I normally like to start in a seated position, but hey, why not mix it up just a little bit? So we're going to bring our big toes together and bring our knees a little bit wider, maybe to the edges of your mat. Depends a little bit on how long your legs are. And keeping the hips back, we start to reach the hands out to the front. Fingers are nice and wide. Maybe we bring our forehead to a block. Or you can stack your fists one on top of the other to give your head a little bit of support. Notice how your shoulders are feeling right now. Feel that point of contact between your hands, your forehead, your knees. Just noticing it. If you feel like you want to make a shift or an adjustment, you can do that. We're just paying attention to how our body feels right now. It's easy to ignore the body all day long. So now we're trying to bring it back into our awareness. As we start to relax our body into the pose, turn your attention to your mind. All the little thoughts running around, chasing each other. And recognize that all those thoughts are just that. You don't have to follow them. You don't even have to believe them. They're just moving around, doing their thing, trying to distract you. And you're just watching them, like kids on a playground. From here, we start to turn our attention to our breath. Feeling it just coming and going in our body, how natural it is. You don't have to think about it, you don't have to change it, you don't have to make it do anything. It's just there to support you. As we start to get more tuned into the breath, let's begin to slow the breath down somewhat, taking deeper inhales and longer, more complete exhales. Noticing where you feel the breath. Maybe it's in your nose. Maybe you feel it in your chest. Maybe you're feeling it in your belly as it expands and presses into your legs. Give yourself one more full breath here. Now we're just going to shift our hands over to the left and get a little bit more of a stretch down the right side of the body. Sink into it, take a full breath in and out. Inhale, return to the center. Exhale, relax into it. Inhale, reach the hands over to the right. Let's find that stretch for the left side of the body. Think about your spine making that letter C curve here as we start to wake it up just a little bit more. Inhale, bring the hands back to center. Exhale, releasing into it. Inhale, let's slide the hands right underneath the shoulders. Start to press away from the floor. Bring the knees a little bit closer together. Walk your hands out and lift the hips up as we move into a tabletop position. Hands are directly under the shoulders here. We want to keep those fingers spread nice and wide. It's always an option if your wrists are getting a little bit tired to ball up the fists and rest the wrist a little bit by making this nice strong line here. Our hips are directly underneath the knees, and we want to lengthen out through the spine, especially right around the neck, so we keep those ears away from the shoulders. Take one full breath in and out. On your next inhale, let's lift the gaze, let the belly drop, and the hips tip toward the ceiling for cow pose. Exhale, scoop the hips under, round the spine, tuck the chin, take your gaze towards your thighs or the back of your mat for cat pose. Inhale and lift. Exhale, round the spine. One more time, inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale and return to table. Exhale, settle into it. Inhale, reaching out through your right hand and your left leg. Let's find a bird dog here. Our fingers are spread wide. Our toes are spread wide. We're pushing our heel out like we're kicking through the door. We want our arm and our leg about an equal distance off the floor. Level out through the hips. Find that strong core to hold the arm and leg into the air. Inhale, reach, reach, reach through the fingers and the heel. Exhale, swing your right hand to the right, left leg to the left. Foot is parallel to the mat. We're going to put our right hand down on the ground. Lift up through the left side, maybe following our hand with our gaze, seeing how that feels on the neck. Maybe we keep the gaze forward, or even take it down to the floor at our right hand. You have a couple of options here in the supported side plank. You can stay right here. You can lift that left leg off the floor. You can even pull the left heel towards your back side, grab it with your hand for a little bit more of a quad stretch. You decide where you want to go today. Waking up that core just a bit. And if you're holding onto your foot, release it. If you have your leg extended, put it down. Inhale, reach up with that right hand. Exhale, bring the hands back down to the floor, right underneath your shoulder, and left knee returns to the left hip, cow and cat. Coming back to our tabletop position, let's take that bird dog now to the other side, reaching through the left hand and the right leg, fingers spread wide, toes spread wide, kicking that door down with the heel, already tying into your strong warrior self, keeping the hips nice and level. Take one full breath in. Exhale, swing that left hand to the left, right leg to the right. Let's put the left hand down on the floor. Inhale, reach up through the right hand. Again, gaze might be going right up to the ceiling. Maybe it's straight ahead, or maybe you're taking it down to your left hand. Same options here. We can stay right here in the supported side plank. You can lift your right leg off the floor. You can pull that right foot towards your backside, grab it with your hand, and find that extra quad stretch. The choice is yours. Your practice, your way today. And if you're holding onto that foot, let's release it. If your leg is extended, let's put the leg down. Inhale, reach up through the left hand. Exhale, both hands come back to the mat, under the shoulders. Right knee under the right hip, cow and cat. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Returning to our tabletop position, let's reach out through the right foot, then the left, coming into a plank. And we always have a few options here. We can be in our standard plank, hands under the shoulders. You can let the knees come down to the ground. We can bring the forearms down to the ground, elbows directly under your shoulders. Or we can tuck those toes under, keep the forearms down, and find your hover. We're going to move ourselves back and forth here in this hover position. So if you're not there, find it. A little ankle movement, a little stretch through the foot. Let's take it one more time and pause here. Lift the hips high. You may want to walk your feet in just a little bit as we come into a dolphin pose. Top of the head toward the floor. We want to lengthen out the spine, so that might make you want to bend the knees a little bit, and that's okay. We can pedal out the legs a bit here, get some movement as we start to wake those muscles up. And then we come up on all 10 toes. Exhale and let the heels drift toward the mat. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. Take it where you want to go today. This is always a good option in place of a downward facing dog. Take a nice inhale. As you exhale, drop the knees back down to the mat, walk the hands under the shoulders. Returning to your tabletop again, lengthen out through the spine. Inhale, take that cow pose. Exhale for cat. And we return to table. Lengthen out the neck. Check those hands, make sure you have the fingers spread wide. Tucking your toes, we're lifting the hips high, coming into our first down dog. Feel free to bend those knees as much as you'd like. Pedal out the legs again. And focus on having long arms and a long spine. So our gaze is through the feet, toward the back of your mat. And we come up on all 10 toes. Exhale, releasing your heels toward the mat. Checking into your neck now, let your shoulder blades slide towards your hips and then away from your spine, almost like you're screwing those hands into the floor and turning the middle finger to the upper corners of your mat. Creating a little bit of space there at the neck. Inhale, lift your gaze toward the top of the mat, keeping the knees bent. Slowly begin to walk toward the top of the mat. Big toes together, a little space at the heels. Let your belly rest on your thighs and take your gaze to your knees. We're going to reach our hands toward the opposite elbows and just let this ragdoll lengthen out your spine. You can move it around. You can hold it stationary, whatever you want to do today. This is always a good option in place of a forward fold. Let's find some stillness here in the middle. Let the hands relax toward the floor. No pressure on the hands here. And we start to find a little bit of length in the legs. Maybe the knees go straight. Maybe not. We're working toward the long leg. You can even reach your hands behind the legs, on top of the calves. Draw your body a bit closer. Really letting that head hang. Looking toward the knees. And now tenting your fingers, place them on the front of your shins. Inhale, lifting the upper body, halfway lift, our whole body parallel to the floor. Lengthen out through the crown and the tailbone. And on your next exhale, release into your forward fold. Inhale, rolling up one vertebra at a time. Let the arms hang. Just a little bit of a gentle squeeze through the glutes here. Let the hips move forward to protect our low back. Roll your shoulders up to the ears, to the back of the room. Bring the shoulder blades together and down, palms facing forward, coming into your strong mountain pose. Let's take a nice deep breath here, reaching out and up. Squeezing those glutes, still just a little bit, pushing the hips forward. Exhale and cactus the arms, lifting the gaze. Inhale and reach. Exhale, start to sweep the arms down. Give those wrists a gentle rotation. Loosen it up just a little bit. Let's do that again. Inhale and reach high. A little bit of a mini back bend through the upper back, and as we exhale, we slowly release these hands down, moving through the wrist. Come back to your mountain pose. For just a moment, pay attention to the energy you're drawing right at the base of each big toe, pinky toe, and the heel on each foot. Knees are relaxed, strong through the core, lifting that proud chest. Now we bring the hands to heart center. We're going to find an arrow mudra here. So lace your last 3 fingers and put your pointer and your thumb together, and then we just bring it right here to the center of the chest. Moving through some sun salutations to get the body just a little bit warmer, starting with our upward salute. Inhale, scoop down to scoop up. Exhale into your forward fold, maybe ragdoll. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, fingers spread wide, knees under your hips for table. Cow and cat. Tucking your toes under. Come from table up into your down dog. Pause here. Take a full breath in and out, releasing your shoulder blades toward the hips. Take your gaze to the top of the mat and slowly walk to the top, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep out and up. Little squeeze in those glutes once again. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's take one full breath in and out. Arrow mudra. Inhale, upward salute. A little more focus on breath to movement. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, planting the hands. Stepping back into a plank. Use any plank version that you enjoy. Keep the elbows tucked in, lowering to the ground, chaturanga. Release to the floor. Little extension on the elbows, gaze straight ahead for baby cobra. Exhale. If that felt okay on your low back and you want a little bit more, inhale. Full extension of the elbow, lifting the gaze to the ceiling. Exhale, coming back down. If you want a little more power, up dog. Inhale, full extension of the arms, lift the gaze, lift the legs off the ground. Exhale. Any one of those versions works. Inhale, tucking your toes under, lift the hips high for downward facing dog. One full breath in and out right here. Inhale, step or hop to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, hands to heart centers. Take 2 full breaths right here. We're going one more round of sun salutation. Choose the flow that you like the best. Maybe it's the plank, chaturanga, cobra or up dog, or maybe it's table, cow, cat, table. You decide. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take your flow here. Maybe it's the plank, maybe it's the table. Your decision. We will all meet together in our down dog. Taking a full breath in and out right here. Inhale, step or hop to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart, pause here. Give yourself this chance to shake it out if you want to, and let's get ready for that strong warrior flow. We're gonna start with our feet just a little bit wider apart, so give yourself some space, maybe 10 to 12 inches, basically getting those heels right underneath your hips. Inhale, sitting into chair. Reaching the hands high, lifting the chest. Take a quick look down at your toes and make sure you can see them. If you're not quite able to see them, maybe shift your weight back or stand a little bit taller. You decide. Reaching up through those fingers, start finding your strength right away. Take a nice full breath in and out. Finding that grounding at the base of the big toe, pinky toe, and heel. Inhale, lift the left leg, stick it back about 3/4 of a step and turn it out to a 45. Find your arrow mudra, push the left hip forward, coming into our warrior one. Front knee is bent, we're keeping it right over the ankle. And your left heel is grounded on the ground in a warrior one. Find your strength here. Release your arrow mudra and bring your hands to the base of your spine. Lace the fingers, lift through the chest. Just let the hands start to drift toward the ceiling. Inhale and exhale toward your knee. Maybe we rest the right shoulder on top of the right knee. Maybe you bring it to the inside of the knee. Let the head begin to hang, looking at your left foot or the back of your mat. And we allow those hands to continue to drift toward the ceiling for humble warrior. Strong in the legs. Open the chest. Take a breath. And now we release the hands down to the base of the spine. Release the fingers. Start to reach the hands forward as we lift through the chest. Bend your back knee and push up into warrior three. Both legs are long here. We want to fight to lengthen and lift the left leg versus dropping the chest even lower. Oops, and if you fall out of it, guess what? You just come right back into it. Let's set that toe down. Pivot your back foot to a right angle so it's parallel to the long edge or the short edge of your mat. Front knee is right over the ankle. Hips are here in the center. And we have our front heel in alignment with our back arch. Shoulders over your hips. Take a big shrug. And release down into the pose. Strong warrior two. Inhale, sweep the left hand forward like you're pulling back the bow string. Follow it. Sweep around. You're following that left hand with your gaze. One more time for archer. Returning to warrior two. Flip the front palm toward the ceiling. Inhale, reaching your right hand high. Let the left hand drift down your foot, bringing your bicep close to your eye. Option to sweep your left hand behind you, reaching for your forward thigh. A little bit of a half bind if you'd like it. Moving into sky archer, lengthen out your front leg and pop the toes off the floor. Left hand reaches up to circle the wrist on the right, and we just give it a little gentle help to open up the right side body a little bit more. Take a full breath in and out here. Very strong pose. Ground into that ground and find the strength. On your next exhale, move back into a warrior two, bending the front knee. Right arm bends at the elbow. We reach the left hand high, resting your right arm on top of your right thigh. Maybe we follow those fingers all the way up, maybe straight ahead, maybe down to the floor. Keeping that knee bent, you have a couple of options here. You can stay right here. You can reach behind you to the floor using a block if you prefer. You can reach in front to the floor. Focus on opening up through the left shoulder. That's the key. Get that twist and that openness to give you some extra flexibility through the torso. One more breath in. As you exhale, pick up the back heel, sweep the left hand down, and placing both hands on each side of your right foot, step back into a plank or a table and take a flow right here, whatever one you prefer. We'll all meet together in our down dog. Taking a full breath in and out right here. Releasing the neck. Inhale, step or hop to the top, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a breath. Check the feet, make sure you still have that space between them because you know we have the other side. Inhale, sweep the hands high. Chair pose, take that little look. Make sure you can see those toes. One more full breath. Inhale, lift the right leg, step back about 3/4 of a step, turn the foot out at a 45. Find your Arrow Mudra. Push the right hip forward, lifting the gaze, opening the chest for Warrior One. On your next exhale, release the hands and bring them to the base of the spine. Lace the fingers, lift, opening the chest. Maybe use the opportunity to sink a little bit more into the pose to open the hip. One more breath in. Exhale, level out your gaze and start to hinge the body over the left knee. Maybe we rest the shoulder on the knee or the inside of the knee, taking the gaze toward the back foot or the back of the mat and letting the hands drift toward the ceiling, humble warrior. On your next exhale, allow those hands to move down to your spine, right at the tailbone. Release the fingers and start to reach the arms forward as you level out the upper body parallel to the floor. Push off from that back leg to come into Warrior Three. Grounded through those feet. And then we slowly step back on the right foot, pivot it to a 90-degree angle and come into Warrior Two. So again, aligning from your heel to your arch. Maybe you need a bigger stride. Hips in the center, shoulders over hips. Arms reaching long. We gaze over the front fingertips. Play with your hip just a little bit here. See if you can open your knee bit more towards the left pinky toe. Taking your right hand, sweep it around to the front, finding your archer. Pull back and release. Let's do it again. Rotation through the upper chest. Pull back, release, following your right hand with your eyes. One more time. Release. And returning to your Warrior Two. Flip your front palm, reverse warrior. Bringing your left bicep close to your eye, slide your right hand down the right leg, or going for that half bind if you prefer. Front knee stays bent. Focus on that stretch all up and down the left side of the body. Sky Archer. Lengthen out the front leg. Pop those toes off the ground. Right hand reaches up, circles the left wrist, and we pull back into it, deepening that stretch. 3 breaths here. Slowly letting the toes come back to the ground, bending the left knee, returning the arms to warrior 2, bend the left arm, bringing it down to the thigh, reaching up through your right hand. Again, option to use a block here. Maybe you bring it behind you or in front of you. Our goal is to pull that right shoulder open till we feel that little bit of a stretch across the chest or openness. Play with where your body can go with it today. One more breath here. And take your gaze down toward the floor, looking at your foot. Pick up your right heel, toes facing forward, right hand comes down to the mat. Left hand comes down to the mat, and take your flow. Maybe it's table, cow and cat. Maybe it's that plank chaturanga. And we all meet together in our down dog, taking that full breath in and out, releasing the neck. Step or hop to the top, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep out and up. That little squeeze in the glutes. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take one more full breath in and out. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, bringing those hands all the way down into a forward fold. Bend at your knees, let your hands come to the mat. Knees come under the hips for table. Lengthen out through your spine. Shift your hips just a little bit to the right and take a look over your shoulder at your left ankle. Return to the center. Let's take that to the other side. Shift the hips a little bit to the left. Look over the right shoulder at your right ankle. Returning to the center. Let's cross the ankles here. Push back, push over those ankles, bringing the legs out in front. Lift up tall through the chest. Let's find a little bit of a V shape in the body, lifting through the chest. We can be right here for a boat pose, or we can lift the feet off the floor, lift the hands away from the legs. Maybe you extend your arms or legs. Take it where you'd like to go, but make sure we keep that chest lifted. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extend the legs, tuck your chin. Canoe, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, sink that canoe. Oh, it always feels good to sink a canoe at the end of that pose. Let's bring our knees in just a little bit closer to the chest now. Hands on top of the knees. Easy rock side to side. Let the floor give your back just a bit of a massage. And then we start to circle the legs around one way and back around the other. If you feel any spots that are a little bit tight or sore, just pause on that spot, maybe rock on it to give it a little bit of release. And bringing the knees to stillness, take a deep breath. Let your belly push your thighs away from you. And as you exhale, draw the knees a bit closer, really pushing out all the air. We're going to release our feet down to the floor. Take your arms out wide, like the letter T. Shift your hips to the left and bring the knees to the right. We want to make sure both shoulder blades stay anchored to the floor here. If you'd like to deepen your twist, you can take your gaze over your left fingertips. And we bring the head back to neutral if we had it turned. Knees come up to the center. Reset the hips. And now move them just a little bit to the right and drop your knees to your left. Again, option to take your gaze over your right fingertips. And then we bring the head back to neutral. If you had it turned to the side, we bring those knees back up to the center, reset the hips to neutral. Let's take the feet out to the edges of your mat and just let the knees fall together. And then we draw the arms a little closer to the body, wherever they fall naturally. Let yourself get comfortable for a moment. You can completely stay here in restorative pose as you move into a Shavasana. This is just a little bit gentler on your lower back. If you prefer, extend the legs out. Just let the feet flop out to the side and start to bring yourself into Shavasana. Softening the scalp. Moving down to all those little muscles around your eyes and your jaw. Smoothing out your face and your throat. Releasing any built up pressure in your shoulders. Letting the arms feel heavy and being supported by the floor, right down through the elbow, wrist, even into your fingertips. You feel that gentle rise and fall of your chest. Your belly. Right into your hips. Releasing the legs at the knee, the ankle, right into your toes. And take a moment just to let yourself be. You can stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you'd like. Whenever you feel ready, start to make your way to a seated position. We let the chin drop to the chest and slowly allow your ear to drift to the shoulder. Bringing the chin back down to the chest. We take the other ear to the other shoulder. And let the chin slide back down to the chest. If your eyes are closed, we start to slowly blink them open. Let's take one final breath in and out together for our practice today. Exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. May you have peace in your thoughts, kindness in your words, and hope in your hearts. From my heart to yours. Namaste.